Hi friends, so we know Ash is going to be the new legend in Apex Legends Season 11, but what is the lore behind her backstory? In this video, I'm going to look at who Ash is in the lore. Trust me, there's a lot of lore here, so strap yourselves in, grab your popcorn, and enjoy the story. So, Ash in her current form is a simulacrum, much like Revenant. The simulacrum, if you don't know, is a robotic soldier with a human mind. Of course, like Revenant, Ash was a human before becoming a simulacrum. So let's go back to the start of the story and find out who Ash really is. Dr. Ashleigh Reid was a scientist on Samathi. She was a friend of Dr. Mary Summers, who you know as Horizon. Ash would occasionally go round Horizon's house for dinner and babysit her son Newton. Ash was Horizon's research assistant as they researched possible solutions to the impending energy crisis in the Outlands. They worked hard to find a solution and eventually discovered Baranthium. Horizon would have to venture out into space to a black hole in order to extract the Baranthium. This would mean leaving Newton behind. She asked Lillian Peck, Newton's godmother and the founder of Olympus, to look after Newton, to which Lillian agreed. Newton was worried about his mother going into space alone, and this led to Ash volunteering to go with Horizon to help. Horizon accepted this offer. What a nice person Ash must be to go to space to help Horizon save the Outlands. During their mission in space, they were successful in finding Baranthium. Just as Horizon attempts to rejoin the main ship from her shuttle, Ash sabotages Horizon, severing the connection between the shuttle and the main ship. Yeah, you know when I said Ash was a nice person for volunteering to go with Horizon? Well, it turns out not so much. Now we don't know when Ash turned bad. Was it after she volunteered to go to space? Was it when she started working with Horizon? Or perhaps she's always just been bad? One thing we do know is this caused a lot of trouble for Horizon and made her break her promise to her son Newton. After returning from space, Ash claimed what happened to Horizon was an accident, and Ash ended up working on Olympus with the group on Project Iris to refine Baranthium. During this time, Ash became one of the creators of Pathfinder and even gave him his trademark yellow smiley face. And after they successfully worked with Pathfinder to refine all the Baranthium, on December 25th, 2658, Ash enacted her plan. She started by telling Newton to go home early. Now I've often wondered why she sent Newton home early. Maybe it was because she did care about Newton. After all, she did babysit him when he was young. Or maybe she was just feeling bad about what she did to Horizon. Earlier on in the story, Newton even said Ash was his friend and he was really grateful to have her. Or maybe she just saw him as irrelevant to the plan. Anyway, as soon as Newton left, Ash called in the mercenaries to take the lab and hold the scientists responsible for creating Pathfinder and successfully refining the Baranthium hostage. Some of these scientists include some recognizable ancestors of legends we know today. For example, Aleki Gibraltar was the grandfather of Gibraltar, and Amelie Paquette was the grandmother for Watson. Now, the plan for Ash was to take the Baranthium along with her mercenaries for their employer. We never actually find out officially who this employer is, but we're assuming it's the Syndicate. Let's face it, the amount of benefit they could get from the profit and power that comes from controlling the only energy source in the Outlands makes it seem like something the Syndicate would be behind. Unfortunately for Ash, she wasn't aware of the failsafe. You see, Pathfinder had all of the override codes, and with the place in lockdown, he was one of the only people that was able to move in and around the area, and this allowed him to take out the mercenaries guarding the scientist. Sadly for Parthy, Ash sticks her Ronin sword into him and then shoots him a few times, putting him down on the ground. Luckily for Parthy though, Amelie Paquette, Watson's grandmother, has his back and saves him by using Ash's own sword against her, plunging the blade through Ash and leaving her in a fatal condition. After this, there were only two options for Ash: death or becoming a simulacrum. It's a painful process, but Ash demanded they do it. Upon becoming a simulacrum, Ash would go on to become a skilled and successful mercenary pilot as part of the Apex Predators led by Cuban Blisk. Following the initial assault by the 9th Militia Fleet, Ash would deploy with the Predators into battle. Together with Cuban Blisk, they would kill Lastimosa, stop BT, and knock out Jack Cooper. In some ways, you could say Ash is one of the reasons Jack Cooper ended up piloting BT. After this, Ash would eventually come face to face with Jack Cooper and BT on Titan. After a grueling battle, BT and Jack Cooper would successfully destroy Ash's Titan and kill her. A simulacrum is hard to kill though, as Loba will tell you, and Vincent Dynamics ended up rebuilding Ash so she could lead their military forces. It was unknown as to whether her memory loss stems from the conversion to simulacrum form and or regeneration prior to the events of Titanfall 2, or whether the reconstruction by Vincent Dynamics was what caused this amnesia. After this, sometime between the end of the Frontier Wars and before the Apex games started, Ash's head was thrown by Cuban Blisk into some kind of energy force, seemingly as a last-ditch effort for some kind of plan. What this energy force was is unclear, but it caused Ash's head to be transported into an alternate dimension, where it was then broken into 9 pieces and scattered across the Shadow Realm King's Canyon. Skip forward a bit to Loba Andrade destroying Skulltown accidentally while trying to kill Revenant source code. This led to Loba having to make a deal with Hammond Robotics. She would have to find pieces of an artifact from the Shadow Realm, and this turned out to be Ash's head. After they found all these pieces and reassembled Ash's head to her body, Hammond wanted to extract some codes from her and proceeded to dispose of Ash's body in a dumpster once they got these codes. Luckily for Ash, Pathfinder finds her in a dumpster and rescues her. She becomes his girlfriend, at least in his mind. Ash could just about remember her name, but not much else, just little snippets such as life finding Octane's parents when they were young running around Hammond Labs. Of course, Ash used to work there as a human, so she was familiar with them. This and other little snippets just kept popping into Ash's head until Rampart seemed to trigger the return of some more memories to Ash. Eventually Blisk would turn up, and after reassuring Ash that he's on her side, he says to her that an old friend has returned. Notably, this was Horizon, as this happened back in Season 7. Blisk at this point enlists Ash to run the arena games for him, and that's where Ash remained until recent times, where Dr. Mary Summers, after hearing a few recollection words from Ash, thought she might be her old friend Lillian Peck, rather than the evil Dr. Ashleigh Reid. This led to Horizon going on a personal mission, partly to get her friend Lillian Peck back, and partly because she wants to know what happened to Newton after the event, and how she can get back to see him. After going to see Revenant to find out how he got his memories back, she finds out that she needs a special series of codes. With Crypto's help, Horizon manages to get hold of these codes and says them out loud to Ash. While doing this, Revenant tries to step in and stop her, knowing the torture it causes remembering everything you've done, including the pain of becoming a simulacrum. Of course he fails, and Horizon successfully triggers Ash's ego retention system, bringing back the full memory and personality of Dr. Ashleigh Reid. It's at this point Horizon realizes she hasn't resurrected Lillian Peck, but instead she's resurrected Dr. Ashleigh Reid, her psycho ex-assistant. Now it's almost like Ash at this point has split personalities. There's the good and bad human side of Dr. Ashleigh Reid, and then there's the kind of AI simulacrum side of Ash. And I do feel like there's good inside her. She's kind of like Darth Vader. She turned to the dark side, but there's good in there as well. She just needs someone to show her the way, and I feel like Horizon could be that person that helps Ash become good again, and maybe together they can find a way to get Horizon back to see her son and keep her promise that Ash originally caused Horizon to break. That would be an epic redemption story. Either that, or Ash really is just bad and she tries to kill everyone, but I guess we'll have to wait and see on that part. Now there are some elements of Ash's backstory that we will get to find out as the season progresses, such as what actually made her turn bad. Is she really just a psycho, or was she doing it for ulterior motives, perhaps to protect her family? Don't forget to like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on more lore and to find out more about Ash's backstory. One thing's for sure though, I can't wait to see Ash as the new legend in Apex Legends Season 11, and I've got loads more Season 11 content coming your way, so keep a lookout. For now though, thanks for watching and I'll catch you later.